Hello everyone, MarcusWolfe here, welcoming you all back to another episode of Disco Elysium. Yeah, I had to chop up my last recording into 3 episodes because it took so darn long. Altogether, that was 3.5 hours of playing, with the whole discussion with our murderer an hour and a half long. It's like I wanted to split that up into 2 episodes, but I had no way of doing it while still making sense. So that was just like a whole unedited hour and a half, well, almost unedited, because I had to take a break halfway through. It was like I was sitting there for like 2 hours at that point. I was like, I need a break. So apart from the little break, it's like an almost unedited hour and a half run. And then we had the Phasmid, which I had to edit out and break because that was its own little thing. It's like, I still can't believe the Phasmid was real. Out of everything that this game has tried to make it portray Harry as, it's kind of like this: I live in this imaginary world and I think all this is kind of real, also at the same time kind of not, but why not think that it's real just to be cool about it, you know? And then it's like, here's the Phasmid. It's totally real. I was like, wow, I really did. I was not kidding when I said I got chills. It's like, wow, the Phasmid is actually real. It's like, wow. The air smells sweet and scary somehow. Well, they do say that death kind of has a sickly sweet smell to it sometimes, so if the air smells sweet around here, it could be that it is saturated in death, courtesy of this man, and of course, the sordid past that are these little islets around Revachol. Or Martin. I can never get... To this day, I still can never understand, is this Revachol or Martinez? I think this is Revachol. No, Revachol. Martinez, I think, is the whole big area. Cough, cough, hiss, hiss. I don't know, but we'll just work with it, okay? I'm not gonna fight with semantics at this point. I'm pretty sure I'm almost done with this game. I just have no idea where I'm going, what I'm doing. Honestly, I really don't know. So what am I supposed to do now? It feels like I went to the end of the game without going to the end of the game. If that makes sense. Like, I got my answer. We found a murderer. Although I suppose there is still one more question to be had. It's like, wait. There we go. There is still one more question to be had, and that is, why did he do this? Water rushes below. Far down below. So yeah, what was his motive? Oh, excuse me. What was his motive for doing this? I don't know. And I feel like the answer to that motive will be by talking to either Evrot or Edgar Clare. Or both. Because 20 years ago, Edgar, as the game calls him, met with our soldier friend here. And it sounds like it's something about, like, an unkept promise? And if it is about an unkept promise, and the soldier person did realize this whole thing was between the harbor and, like, and the working class people, by committing this murder, he must have figured that to some degree, to some degree there will be a problem between the harbor and the military, and the military will try to take advantage of it, which they have. They definitely have tried, as expected by the military tribunal. But I don't know. That is true. What is the motive to all this? And that is probably the final question to be answered.
The skiff is swaying on the waves by the dock.
Well, let's go back,
We are done here.
he says, adjusting his glasses as he looks out over the water.
The skiff rocks gently under your weight as you get in. The ride back is uneventful and quiet. But for the sound of conversation on the water, there is someone inland waiting for you.
I believe that.
You reach the jetty and climb out of the skiff.
Okay. Let's see. 'Cause really, that is the last question of the day, I feel. What is the motive? And I think I know who can answer that. Oh, hello. Oh, hello. What the hell?
Look what the tide brought him.
Says the man without sunglasses. Suddenly his expression changes, and he tilts his head.
I want to call you a teapot, but I'm honestly kind of impressed. No idea where you got all that gear, but there's no doubt in my mind that some bad people are looking for it. Also, you look like a fucking idiot.
Whatever this is, it is completely unimportant compared to what you've just seen.
I was not expecting to see them here. What is this supposed to mean?
This is the man with sunglasses from the whirling in rags. But where are his sunglasses?
Wait. Aren't you the man with sunglasses from the Whirling in Rags?
That's right. And you're some kind of murder machine.
Whatever. Forget it. You know, honestly, people don't seem all that bothered by this armor.
Oh, really? They don't seem bothered by it? That's because you're a cop in an exoskeleton.
You know, that explains it.
Yes, that has always explained it.
This is not the first time he's seen you all decked out in Weka.
Vic, calm down.
Yeah, anyway, let's just forget about all this. You know, I just came back from the island, and there's this big, giant...
We're not forgetting about anything. Look at you.
He points at you with both hands. Okay. Fair point. Well, since you're gonna cut to the chase anyway, let me do that. Who are you people?
Hello, I'm Trent Heilerstein. I believe we've met on several occasions.
Excuse me? Aren't you the one with your son at the Fell building?
I'm your goddamn partner, Jean-Vic Comar, and this is your special task force. Or what's left of it. Special Consultant Trent Heidelstam, Patrol Officer Judith Minot.
Hi.
We've come to scrape what's left of you off the pavement.
Lieutenant Kim Kisoragi, Prison 57. We've just come from the island, where our investigation led us.
You're a police consultant. I assume either that is your son, or you just pretended, for obvious reasons, you know, to keep appearances, but... Huh. Is that why you were at the Fell building? Because you had a feeling Ruby was there? That would make sense. This is my the four of us are the special task force.
The scene is making even him feel as though he has to justify your actions.
We might need your help with something later.
He adds, suddenly regaining his confidence.
As if he recalled that he's in fact a decorated police lieutenant and not a naughty boy.
But this is clearly a departmental matter, so I'm going to leave you to discuss it among yourselves.
Of course. Thank you for your help, Lieutenant.
It's good to meet you, Lieutenant Kitsuhagi.
She says warmly, flashing the lieutenant the tiniest of smiles.
Letting the lieutenant know he shouldn't feel embarrassed over the shitstorm that's about to befall you.
Alright, so... why are you guys here? What is this all about?
Ari, we want to help you. Trent, I believe this is where you come in?
I don't quite know what I'm doing here. I was asked to participate as an expert. I think I need to manage your expectations a little. I'm at best an enthusiast in cognitive science. My background is in something else entirely. I engage in neurology on a merely theoretical level. In fact, I should probably get going.
So... kind of like fringe science of... psychology. Or maybe not even psychology. You say cognitive science, so neurology would be better, yeah. Not necessarily, but psychology would be a a branch into neurology? Huh.
No, Trent, it's too late. You're part of this shit now. What have you got to say for yourself, shit kid?
What does he have to say for himself? He left you to catch the bullets. Shit, kid. What an interesting Monica.
How did you know I was here?
The cafeteria manager you fucked over told us where you went.
Okay, fair. Gart told you.
And people on the street helped us too, with your whereabouts.
You're a legend among the drunks, Harry. A legendary local drunk.
And yeah? Well, you aren't the man with sunglasses at all. Don't even have your signature blonde hair.
Guilty as charged. I heard you'd lost your mind and your memory. I wanted to see if it was true. And it was. Good work, Harry. You're insane now. There's one less person for me and everyone else to rely on.
He was too sarcastic for you to realize who he was.
Yeah, well, okay, fair, I had that coming.
Had what coming? Not recognizing people you work with every day. Brain damage.
Okay, so the man over there, Trent Hiddleston, he turns out to be a special consultant. Trent Hiddleston, not a father visiting the Fell building, a piece of history with his son.
Yes, I'm Trant Hiddleston. I never said I wasn't Trant Hiddleston.
Yes, but what about what I just said? The kid, what's with him?
Mikael? Mikael's my son.
Huh. Okay. And what exactly was up with all the interesting history you were telling me about? Were you spying on me?
No, I was just interested in the Feld building and the Martinez beachhead. And Mikael wanted to see Martinez. It was a coincidence.
Okay. I'll bite. So what exactly are you special consulting about here?
What indeed? I was asked to share my take on some of the more obscure theories developed in Königstein in the 30s, like partial psychotraumatic amnesia, group personality theory.
He's here to see if you're insane. He's smart. Let's move on.
Alright. Well, fine. So, you mentioned a task force?
Yeah, Major Crimes Unit, under Lieutenant Dubois and Vicomar. Ring any bells?
Who else is in this group?
Refresh your memory? It's a goddamn Major Crimes Unit. There's you, me, Jude, Trant fucking Hiddleston, and Guillaume Baby.
He stares at you.
I'm technically just a civilian advisor.
Oh, fuck you. You're part of this shit show.
Okay, who's Guillaume Bevy?
Oh, that's an interesting story, actually. Guillaume Bevy is a police reporter who joined our team. He was really good. Then he left because he lost faith in your ability to lead the unit. Other people have left too. Good, smart people. People we won't get back. Only me and this really patient patrol officer are still here. And Trant because I'm forcing him to stay.
Is this Guillaume Bevy blonde and partial to sunglasses?
Is he blonde with sunglasses? Kind of like how you were?
See? There. He's getting it. I was impersonating him. Look at me, I'm G. Bevy. It was going to be funny, but then you really did have brain damage. So not so much anymore.
Oh, okay. So what exactly does this unit do?
It's a major crimes unit. We clear the desk of cases so Precinct 41 doesn't look like the worst station in town. We are shit tier now, Harry. Because of you.
The 41st isn't...
He trails off, not wishing to finish the sentence. So, if you were here for at least a few days now, where have you been all this time? Did you know that there was a military tribunal that happened 2 nights ago?
God damn it, Harry.
He shifts his weight, crosses his arms, and looks you in the eye.
You told us to fuck off. You said we're cramping your style. Your detective god. Fuck everything. All we burn. Detect or die.
Oh, so you just left me to fend off a squad of train killers by myself with gosh knows how many civilians out there just to teach me a lesson?
It wasn't like that.
Fuck you, Harry. We didn't know there was gonna be a tribunal, did we?
You know, I'll be honest in saying that I don't remember saying all of that to you. But, as of who I am right now, I'm not like that anymore.
Yes, you're sorry. You're the sorriest cop who ever lived. Nothing has changed, Harry. I've heard this repentance shit a million times over.
And what about her? She never told me that she's not the horse-faced woman.
Lieutenant, my name is not horse-faced woman. It's Judith Minot. I was assigned to your unit 2 months ago. I thought we were friends.
Well, I am truly sorry, Officer Minot.
Okay, you're my commanding officer. I really want to respect you. I want us to have a normal relationship.
That will never happen, Jude. He's the rudest man on earth. He's the reason why the rest of us have to take sensitivity training. And I hate sensitivity training.
Yeah, well, clearly, sensitivity training hasn't helped you at all. Look, I'll be honest and say that none of this is ringing any bells.
The bells aren't ringing because you have brain damage. Trant, this is where you come in. How bad is it?
Well, he doesn't have visible tremors, he talks without slurring, he can drive a boat, he's standing, reasoning. All good signs, but complete retrograde amnesia, episodic and semantic.
Meaning, you forgot both who you are and the definitions of money, Isola, pound, and so on.
Which is true.
As displayed in a station call, our interactions with him, and I don't want to be a snitch, but also mine with him before when Harry did not seem to know who I was. It's all very interesting.
Interesting?
Yes, interesting. I have my theories, but I would like to hear Harry's thoughts first. Harry, what do you think happened to you? Neurologically, psychologically, and why not socioeconomically?
Social-economically? Why? Are you saying that I am so dirt poor that I managed to lose my memory?
Not when you phrase it like that. But I don't think critical theory. I know everyone thinks this is far-fetched pink academia, but still, I don't think it should be off the table here.
What? He lost his memory because of capitalism?
No, not like that. I'm not talking Vrede for school here. But Harry, I asked you, what do you think happened?
Well, we can start with the obvious. I mean, you guys can verify this easily anyway. I drank so much that I got blacked out drunk and lost my memory. And over the course of the past week, I've been slowly piecing things back together.
He is. He's getting better. And I can confirm that he drank a lot of alcohol prior to it happening.
I believe he drank. People do that, especially this one. What they don't do is forget their whole life because of drinking.
But Detective Vigmer, he has blanked out before.
I have.
Yes, a couple of times. After some of the more serious blunders. One was after the two drunks case, the other when we looked into that mural.
The two cases in your ledger, the unsolvable case and the Next World mural, those were recent. Those cases were hard on you.
Interesting. So at first he dipped his toes into it, prepared. That's where he would have gotten the idea, yes. Practice. And then he used alcohol to get there, so to speak.
What do you mean?
Well, here's my theory. What if this is an absolutely normal reaction to the world we're living in? What if this is not a significant anomaly at all? Something to be explained, approached as a defect? Look at the sensory input here.
He gestures towards the scenery. You're saying that I got blacked out drunk as a test to see whether or not how I would react to the pale? Is that what you're trying to say right now? That's the only thing I could think of when you say this sentence. What if this is an absolutely normal reaction to the world we're living in? The world you guys are living in is the pale. Is that what you're saying?
Look at the ruins, the neon. Listen to the radio, the multitudes, the people. Live here for 40 years. As a police detective, he's like a magnetic reader on the world tape, to borrow a known metaphor. Harry's been pushed flat against it. Total input. Hardwired to the free market. He just needed for its end.
Okay, Trent, thank you. That's absolutely meaningless. I'm glad we brought you. Will he or will he not be able to work in the major crimes unit? Is he a cretin now? I want to know that.
He's not a cretin, and he is able to do work. If not in his previous leadership role, then as a line detective.
Well, that I can agree with. Line detective will be good. I do enjoy field work.
For now, I misphrased my question. It should have been, is he able to put his clothes on and use the body? Or do we need to get him on a disability pension?
Okay, so what now?
Now nothing. Now we're just going to stand here.
Really?
No. Now we discuss that. What the fuck did you do to a motor carriage? Why is it there, Harry?
Well, that was part of the drunken bender that I was on. I drove it into the ocean at that point.
Ah, so refreshing. He just admits it. Thank you for your honesty. Thank you for destroying 45,000 real of police property that's coming out of everyone's payslip. It doesn't matter. Your badge, Harry. Show me your badge.
My badge?
The thing that tells people you're a police officer.
Sure, I have it right here. As much as I want to do this, I can't because I reported it.
In a rush to demonstrate your badge, your eager fingers can't sustain a grip on the smooth plastic, and the badge slips out of your hand.
7, 12, 5.
Not today, badge.
Yeah, thank you, Brain, but I don't need all this dramatics. I don't think right now's the time.
And your gun?
He asks, unimpressed by the piece of plastic in your hand.
As if having your badge and gun are natural states, not achievements.
It's right here.
He has it. And he didn't drop it. You're drunk like a bum, Harry. Put that thing away before you kill someone.
So it doesn't even matter that I found my gun.
You were never supposed to lose it in the first place. Not lost is your gun's natural state, you drunk bum.
Okay. So I just had a little drink.
A little drink? You smell like a corpse. I'm downwind and I can barely breathe. You smell like shit. You let a suspect escape, Harry. Glacier something. Because you were too drunk to assess a flight risk.
We've read the reports. Lieutenant Kitsuhagi's. We know.
Yes, but not taking her in was probably the right thing to do at the time. She gave us a vital clue that led us ultimately to that island.
Oh well, if she was nice. I'm not even gonna get into the other suspect. who also escaped. Yeah, Ruby something. Or the fact that you're Edward Clare's little peony now, doing I don't know what for him. That's small-time stuff. That's nothing. That's a humorous anecdote. Compared to the 6 people who were gunned down, the streets are literally red with blood, Harry. It was fucking mass murder.
He did everything he could. We did everything we could. The company hired and vetted mercenaries. Lieutenant Dubois got between them and the locals. He did so at considerable risk to his person. Remember, he was shot. We stopped an execution, not a negotiation. The loss of life was minimal compared to what it could have been.
Look. It's what he said.
Thank you for the input, Lieutenant Kitsuragi. I didn't mean to suggest you didn't handle the situation.
He brushes a stray strand of hair out of his eye and coughs. Dude. Seriously? You must have known that Kim was with me. So by you saying all this to me, you are implying that Kim is also reflecting non-due diligence. Are you serious? Serious? No. You do mean to suggest we didn't handle the situation. That's what you're suggesting.
He thinks of apologizing, but decides against it.
You've spent the week with him on this case. What is your take?
I'm sorry, I just had to say that because I do not like it when people, like, throughout the whole conversation, unknowingly lump a group of people into their ire, and then when that one person is able to fend for themselves properly, then they go all like, oh, I didn't mean to assume that you were also, It's like, are you serious? Dude, don't try to backpedal. You literally lumped him in with me. You want the ire? Put the ire on me as Harriet Dubois. Separate Kim from this. It's like, seriously, come on. Sorry, I really hate when people do that, so that's why I got lightly fired up about that. I hate when people do that.
On the case?
On Lieutenant Geoffrey Dubois.
Well, the drinking, the lost gun, also losing his badge, that's all true. And he's been drinking on the job.
The man sighs deeply.
Then there's the self-flagellation issue. He likes to apologize profusely, making it sound like he's guilty of at least first-degree murder. It's not a good communication strategy for an officer. It's worrying, especially considering his political views. Detective Dubois is, as you may know, a Mazovian socio-economist. He wants to liquidate the ruling class, which, again, for a police officer, is a little odd.
You should yell something.
No.
Yes, let's let the big boys talk.
Other still, he is also an ultra-liberal hustler who is always on the grind. How he reconciles these 2 points of view, I do not know. But he is vocal about both of them. And then there's the motor carriage in the sea, and the constant smoking everywhere, all the time. But despite all this, he is a great detective, one of the best I have seen, in fact. He can talk human beings into telling him everything, and he doesn't stop. In all the time I've spent with him, he has not once stopped pursuing leads, however far-fetched and tangential. He is tireless, madly driven. Well, except that one time when he stopped to sing karaoke, which, by the way, I have to disagree with you, Mr. Vicmar, was a valiant effort. He really sang his heart out.
Okay, he did something.
Other than that one time, he has tirelessly worked on the case, and he solved it. We have a confession, a murder weapon, and the perpetrator, locked on the island right now, awaiting transportation. He apprehended a revolutionary brigade who stayed hidden for 50 years, ever since the revolution, who's probably committed other murders over those years. Oh, and he also discovered a new species.
A new species?
A colossal stick insect. It was on the island, camouflaged as the reeds. It unfolded from the reeds. I think we may be dealing with the Insulindian phasmid.
He takes out the photo of the phasmid and shows it to the officers across the yard. The wind blows, flapping the glossy rectangle in his hand. You hear gasps beneath the howling of the wind.
As you can see, it's about 3 meters tall. In fact, we think it may be the largest land invertebrate ever discovered.
Fucking hell is that? Is this somehow connected to the case?
The killer did not seem to be aware of the phasmid's presence. Exhibiting a strange, atypical dementia, he fell into a stupor after its appearance. He became near catatonic.
Honestly, it's probably not connected to the case. But the perpetrator knew of its existence. He must have. Otherwise, like Kim said, why would he not seem aware of its presence?
So it is connected.
I must say, this is absolutely extraordinary. I don't even have words for it.
Yes, it really does make it hard to fire the drunk.
His tired eyes follow the photo as the lieutenant puts it away.
This is a very, very sad man who has just seen something that's made him forget his sadness. Now you make your case. Now is the time. Now or never.
While we were on the island, we have learned a few things from our suspect. The previous head of the Debarders Union, 20 years ago, she was assassinated by our killer.
This is a conversation for when we are no longer out in the open. In Martinez, where Everard and Edgar Clare have ears everywhere.
The lieutenant lowers his voice, just a little.
And eyes, too. Your return from the island must not have gone unnoticed.
Understood, of course.
I would prefer not to partake in anything Union-related, for political neutrality.
This has to be good stuff for him to backpedal out of it at first mention.
That's fair, that's fair. There was a dead man that I found on the boardwalk just a few minutes walk up north there. The missing person I found.
Yes. Fallen through a gap in a boardwalk. Drunk.
How'd you know that?
The body was transported to Precinct 41, our morgue. I had Tilbrook and Mullins take care of funeral arrangements and family stuff.
You're not the only cop in the world, Harry. This all comes back to us.
Still, good work with the missing person, Detective.
It's still a point for you. No denying it.
I also managed to confiscate some drugs from Kuno's dad. You know, the child that has a pretty foul mouth at the back of Orleans and Rags.
Who's Kuno?
You don't want to know.
You're right, Lieutenant. I don't. You snorted the drugs, I know you did. It's alright. I'm in. At this point, anything is but the drink.
I like to say no, I didn't, but you don't give me the option, so... And also, I feel that the killer, Lilianovich Dros, I think we have a strong motive for him.
Lilianovich. A revolutionary matronym.
Matronym?
The custom started in Grad, where they have patronyms. Krasovich, Lasovich, etc. The revolutionaries saw this as a chauvinist atavism, so they used matronyms, derived from the mother's name instead. This man's mother was Lilian. His Lilian's son, Lilianovich. The custom was overturned after the revolution failed, but not before it made it to Revachol.
Really? Really? That's a... wow, I learned something new about worldly language. Honest, wow. So... oh, so... matronym and patronym. So I guess... O must be of, and Vich probably... son, or child at the very least. So, child of Lillian. Child of Cross. Child of Lars. Ah. Well, you learn something new every day, even probably at what's possibly the end of this game. Wow, that is cool.
So, it is what a soldier of the ICM would be called.
Thank you, Trant. Thank you for that piece of cultural theory. You said you have a motive?
Of course, excuse me, I just thought it was noteworthy.
He wasn't quite sure about the straggler before he heard this detail. It must have convinced him.
Well, he was the one who killed the mercenary. It's possible he was hoping to start a war between the company and the Union.
And it worked? He got a war going?
Yes, until we stopped it. He saw the mercenary as an ennemi combattant. There's plenty for prosecution to pick from, as far as motive is concerned. Also, we have ballistics from the gun, matching the bullet found in the dead mercenary's head, and 2 officers on the scene that Mr. Dross confessed to.
It's a clean win.
Oh, it's way more than that.
I honestly did all I could. Every second was a struggle.
I've never doubted you can pull yourself together and work. In bouts. Bouts don't last. I can still smell the booze on the wind.
God damn it. It is bad. Even you can smell it. Chin up. Keep focusing on the positives here.
The strike situation was also fixed.
How? It seems to be ongoing. I see red banners on the gates.
He didn't quite solve it. He cross-pollinated information between the company rep and Evrard, until the rep came to see that the Union desires war, at which point Mrs. Messier decided to...
He shrugs.
What? Hand clear the terminal?
I just told some Look, I just told some people some things. It's... In the right now, it's not too big of a deal. Things are calmer. A little bit better than what they were before.
Sounds like you got played, Harry. Because you were off your tits on Al Ghul.
Maybe.
Maybe. Certainly. You're Everclear's peony now, just as I said. He's a mob boss, did you know? Is that why you want us to investigate the assassination of the previous Union head thing? To get off Everard's hook?
No, it's nothing like that. He was reckless with information, but ethical. We don't owe anyone anything. This allowed us to stabilize things in Martinez.
God, calm down, Jean.
Silence. Good. The man doesn't know what to say.
And, oh, just to say, I'm sure you've heard maybe some talk about this, the mystery of the doomed commercial area.
I don't know what a doomed commercial area is.
Rue de Sanguis Lane 10, a commercial building where all businesses go bankrupt. I looked into that.
Why? That's not what you were supposed to do here.
There was a possible witness in there, and it was close to the crime scene. He was just chasing a lead and ended up advising a local shopkeeper. It was okay.
Of course. Call it community outreach, right?
Dodged the bullet there. For a moment it seemed like you were just wasting time.
So, what do you say? You wanna take this entire hot shit back?
I don't want to, but you discovered a new species and solved the murder.
He shrugs.
So I have to. Jude.
Honestly, anything that ends this trial is okay with me.
A quick nod. No, you're right, Jude. This is totally the military tribunal, but with partner. I think he described her as a beat cop and a civilian advisor. This is literally a tribunal here.
Agreed. The public relations potential of this is too valuable to let go.
Okay. We have vehicles in the square, and the perpetrator needs to be taken into custody. Let's go.
Now you will finally get to know who you are.
Wait. You've asked your questions. I think it's now my turn to ask some things about who I am.
The man looks westward, impatiently, jingling his car keys in his pocket.
Who am I?
Who are you? You're a gym teacher, Harry.
Huh?
Well, obviously you're not a gym teacher anymore, but
Oh, okay. But what about before? I was a gym teacher? Damn. Yeah, I just realized maybe if I did that dumbbell thing and if I succeeded, I probably would have gotten a little thing about like, this feels so easy with practiced ease. That's gym teacher. Damn, I would not have figured that.
Before you were a cop, you were a gym teacher in Coron. It's getting really cold outside. Should we maybe...
That does explain a few things.
Harry, it explains everything. The running around, the jumping, the shot put, your inexplicable facial hair.
And the collection of fallen sportswear I've amassed.
Some of your more old-school wording choices. Your posture, even. The constant stretches.
What does facial hair have to do with being a gym teacher? I don't know this for obvious reasons, but does taking steroids grow facial hair? Does it? Well, then again, that's fair. Steroids is a form of testosterone, is it not? So it would make sense if that is the case. It would make sense that facial hair will be a side effect. Interesting. If that is the case, then those 4 words really talks a lot about, you know, oh, I also took steroids. Without saying the word steroids. That's very cool. And of course, if you don't know about that, then it just flies over your head and you'll be like, what does that have to do with anything, you know? But, wow.
The incredible stamina output. Also, this guy. Just everything about this guy. And this guy, too. God, even this javelin throwing freak here.
Oh my god, that's it. That's actually kind of true. Physical instruments, softball fair. It's like, I look good, and, you know, I can talk to you a bit because I look good. Oh god. Contact Mike?
Of course. Contact Mike.
he's been on about Mike again. I hate that guy.
So, wait, when was this? Was it when I was a gym teacher?
In your 20s or late 20s, you've really let yourself go since then.
He looks you over. Well, I won't exactly disagree with that. You said Coron. I was a gym teacher there.
Yes, you taught gym in Corn. I believe that's the term. Taught gym at a high school. You were a high school gym teacher.
The smell of sweat and glue. The worn floorboards. Kuro is just east of Jamrock. It was a short walk every morning to the baseball field or the sports building.
High school. Harry, your goings-on with Kuno, Andre, Acel, the whole thing on the ice. That's why you are so juvie.
Because he's used to dealing with young adults on a daily basis as a teacher. That makes so much sense. It does. And I was only a teacher for a couple years, but I can tell you, high school teacher, but I can tell you, when you're around the young adults for an X amount of time, you, to a certain degree, learn how to communicate with them. You do. That makes so much sense. So then why did I join the RCM?
The regular. You found some chick. She inspired you to fight the big fight. Be more than you are. All that.
You, every morning, walking from Voyager Road to teach gym. She, leaving for the academy with her spring coat on. The air filled with the smell of smoke and raspberries, and incredible hope. An ocean full of hope.
I see.
I knew it. I knew no normal human being can run like that. He's an honest-to-God gym teacher.
And why am I like this, then?
It's not a mystery. Some chick fucked you over. Also, you were drunk.
You really went with it too. Really maximized the damage.
Dora?
Yeah. Dora England, I think.
Not Dora Dubois.
So we weren't even married.
No one is married anymore. This is Revachol.
When was this?
God, I don't know. 6 years ago, she was way before my time.
6 years and you haven't gotten over it? What the hell is wrong with you?
6 years.
Yeah, or 7. You're not doing too good there. It's an old man thing. 2 old years equals 1 normal year. That and Durangalon really tore you a new one. A big one.
Who was she?
Incredibly bangable.
No, I meant, what did she do?
She was incredibly fuckable. A beautiful bourgeois woman. Wayfish. Like a Welkin, basically.
Snow Welkin. Blonde Welkin. Heartbreak Welkin. Pain Welkin.
I've only seen a picture, but it's obvious you formed a real spiritual connection with how pretty she was. One you never recuperated from.
Look, the sun is about to go down. It's time to go.
I think she taught in the Académie des Arts, east of the river. Way east. Hard to say which came first, the middle-class chick or the drink. Egg and the chicken kind of thing. My point is, you need to see a psychiatrist about this shit. Not a psychologist. Several degrees harder. Is there something harder than a psychiatrist? A forensic psychiatrist? Go talk to that.
In other words, he's heard enough about this.
6 years and still not Harry, yeah, you definitely need to see a psychiatrist. I mean, God. 6 years of mental anguish. And burying it in a bottle. And possibly drugs, but before the events of this game. Damn. Okay. And I've heard rumors about this during my investigation here, but am I a dirty cop working for La Puta Madre?
No.
Really? But the suspect, Ruby, she seemed to think...
You're too unstable to work for a mob boss. You're suicidal, Harry. No mob boss would take you.
I assure you, I wouldn't consult for a corrupt unit.
He would immediately backpedal out of it. I told you it's not that bad.
Hey, well, that honestly does take a load off of me. Precinct 41. What kind of station is this?
Us? We're the bloody murder station, haven't you heard? We're the bad guys. No one likes us.
That's not true. Jamrock is too big for one precinct. You are just understaffed, and everyone respects the 41st. You have Captain Price.
Thank you, Lieutenant. You're being kind. It is an understaffed station and the district is too big, which is why we need to...
He tilts his head northward.
Get back to it. We left Torsen and McLean to run the Sea Wing. It's not good.
Torsen and McLean?
Mac the Torso Torsen and Chester McLean. They're not fit to run a wing. Believe me. Things are shaky as it is.
They are damn iconic though, Torsen and McLean.
From the way you speak of them, an iconic duo?
Yeah, not like us. Two clinically depressed old men. Where's the contrast here? We are garbage.
And the Sea Wing is...
God. There are 4 wings, Harry. A, B, C, and D. We're in C. It's made of losers and clock punchers. You and I reconceptualized it as a task force. It was a mistake.
There's also a lot of outside help involved, not only me. Other losers too.
And, Captain Price?
Ptolemy Price? He's the son of the old Price, one of the founders of the RCM.
He's one of the most highly regarded men in the force. You're lucky.
Huh. Cool. If you don't mind me asking, did we recently shoot up a church by any chance?
So he remembers that. Yes, there may have been a raid on some churches. It wasn't good press.
Shooting up churches never is. I was out of town, to be clear.
So what exactly happened? What reason did we have to go there?
Our enemies were hiding in a church, to the best of our information. That's it. I'm not talking about this anymore. Your security clearance is shit tier right now. You have to wait for it to go up.
He means it. The RCM and its enemies will not be discussed on this coast. Your clearance will not go up while you're within earshot of the Union headquarters.
That is fair. So I work in the bloody murder station.
Okay, it's not the bloody murder station. It's an old converted silk mill with green desk lamps and a coffee corner. A lot of good people work there, hard, every day.
Jamrock is the largest ghetto in Rivershore. Faubourg, technically, but it's divided into 11 districts. Jamrock only has us.
11 districts and only one precinct. My god, no wonder we're understaffed. Jesus.
The press will blow over. Jamrock is lucky to have you, and it's often considered to be the greatest of the districts. You're lucky to have it.
Thank you again, Lieutenant.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh god, I can't believe I forgot this. We need to tell Lena about the Phasmid ASAP.
Who is Lena?
She lives at 1113 Tabernacle Road in Jamrock, remember?
She's a cryptozoologist. She lives over in Jamrock on Tabernacle Road. She's the one who told me at first about this Phasmid.
Tabernacle? It's on the way over. Near where you live on Perdition.
She looks at Vicquimire.
Fine, if we're gonna drop you off anyway.
She and her husband were conducting the search for the Phasmid. It's their discovery, in part. They should know as soon as possible. It would do you good to deliver some positive news for a change.
Watch out, or she'll faint.
Yeah, definitely should. So, Lieutenant Kitsuragi, what are your plans now after this?
Well, first I will go back to my station and write the most detailed report anyone has ever seen. It will have to be good to cover all these. Then I will have a serious talk with my captain.
Regarding what?
Detective, we just stopped a small-scale war. Something is happening to Revachol.
He pulls up his collar and looks around, the cold spring light reflected in the lenses of his glasses.
I don't know what yet, but it's going to be a hard spring for the RCM. We need to get ready, infiltrate, investigate.
Distant traffic. A scrap of newspaper drifts by, carried by the wind. It says, tensions rise in Terminal YC in light of the Debardeurs strike in Terminal B. Among representatives of every industry in Coal City. You read.
Why not do that at Station 41? I think you're more than welcome to be there.
Talk to Captain Price? I'd rather not ruffle the feathers of two captains with my doom-mongering.
Oh, no, I meant investigate. Like, come work with us over in Precinct 41.
Work with Price? I'm flattered, but I don't know if I...
This truly came as a surprise to him. Not a bad one, but he's at a loss.
Flattered? You're Lieutenant Kitsuragi. We would be flattered if you even considered.
I would have to tie things up in GRIH first. But, I mean, whatever is coming, Jamrock will be more central to it than the harbor.
The lieutenant turns very serious all of a sudden.
And we also have a huge caseload, Lieutenant. Piles that we need to get back to. Mountains, even.
I do like the sound of that.
He returns her smile. Yeah, if anything, Kim likes to be likes to keep busy, but he also tries his best. It's cool that our trust with him has allowed him to be flattered to even be considered for this. But I'm sure if we were like really bad person, it's like, I don't want to work with you. Bye. So I'm sure that could have went either way.
He's really considering it.
All right. Well, I think that's all I have to ask. I'm ready.
Good.
She looks at you, de Vicquimare.
Fuck it, Let's go. Trump brought his motor carriage. It's a 20-minute drive to Jamrock.
Under the afternoon sky, the great district hums. A chessboard of wooden houses, 80,000 living souls, and chimney stacks. Fire traps as far as the eye can see. From Main Street to Precinct 41, to Boogie Street, forking into the snow-swept horizon. You close your eyes and hear the dogs bark. A lone woman sits by a factory window, dreaming of meteorite strikes. On Rue de Saint-Jérôme, a square bullet slides into a square-shaped chamber. In Old South, a man without eyelids smiles. Spring has come. It's time. Torsen? Yes. McLean? Yes. Heidelstein? No. Vicmair? Yes. Dubois? Yes. Really? Nix Gottlieb looks up from the list. I hear he's unstable. You say that like it's a bad thing. Captain Potomny Price gestures with a ballpoint pen. It's dim in his office, and the curtains are drawn. Harry's our man. He'll pull through. When he does, he'll side with the people. Understood. Gottlieb returns to the list. Minnow? Of course.
Wonderful. Then can we please just go back to Jamrock now?
It's cool. That little bit of esprit de corps. Just a little insight into what Captain Price is doing. This might be a new task force. Yeah. Jean definitely needs to take those sensitivity classes, but honestly, I do believe that at the end of the day, deep down, he does care. But, you know, just tired of all the shit that he has to deal with. Yeah. I'm done. Wow. This was a game. This was such a very fun game. I don't remember the last time I actually allowed myself to constantly deep dive into the script that is the story that is this game. I mean, there are like so many little bits that run parallel to our real world. I don't know why I said it that way. Yeah, to our real world. And honestly, my friend Abrasive Music, he did mention that this game, and I believe it after having experienced it, this game borrowed a lot of things from real world politics at the time. And I don't mean at the time of this final cut, which I think is 2024. I don't remember when this game was first created. I think 2020, 2019, around there, probably even 2021. And for anyone who has lived on this earth, okay? I'm not even going to single out anywhere, because literally, if you lived on this earth as a teenager in 2019 at least, you would know what the political climate was. It was a thing, I will say. And you know me, I'm not a political person by any stretch of the imagination, so I'll just leave it at that, because I don't want to ruffle feathers and talk out of my butt like a lot of people do in this political atmosphere. I mean, you have to admit that at least, you know, so. But yeah, wonderful story, wonderful game. I definitely enjoy the way it structures itself as almost like a D&D campaign, basically. Now that I think about it, it's essentially a D&D campaign. Everything is decided by the dice roll, with the with the GM, the story narrator. Oh, look at all those actors. Voice actors, sorry. But yeah, it is essentially a D&D campaign, with the GM being the narrator, and the narrator will only progress the story based on how the roll of the dice is. Like, like at the one of the first red checks I remember is like running out to the Wellington Rags to not pay the bill, to skip out on the bill, turning around to flip the bird to Gart, and then because I failed a red check, I crashed into the into the pinball. So it's like, it's so amazing. It really is just great. This game, it's like so. Definitely a lot of replayability here, definitely, because no two playthroughs are ever going to be the same, simply because the roll of the dice system is just like a campaign in Dungeons and Dragons. You can play the same campaign as much as you want. It's never going to be the same because the dice will be different. The dice is the ultimate randomizer. It is the story. The dice knows how to tell a story, and it will tell it to you. Really, just so much fun. Just so much fun. I enjoyed it so much. I really did. And it's kind of interesting that I only just recently, like within the past couple years, have gotten into Dungeons and Dragons. Mind you, I have not played a campaign yet, only because I am so busy. The past 2 years, working every day, going to classes every day. You know, it's like I don't have time for that, but I enjoy what the idea of Dungeons and Dragons is. And this game even paid tribute to that with We're All Untethered. It's just, We're All Untethered is quite clearly a reference to Dungeons and Dragons. It's just great. Oh, and need I even say, the Pale, the idea of what the Pale is. The Pale is essentially, from what I understand, the world's library, where the history of everything that's happened from the far distant past, like how far, I don't know, to now. It's so much information. And people who are in there for who are exposed to the Pale for extreme portions of time, start to go a little bit cuckoo. It makes sense. Because, and I know I said this before, but referencing to Indiana Jones and Legend of the Crystal Skull, the Nazi lady who was like in the psychic department, it's at the end, it's like, I want to know. And then as the scene goes, no, stop, too much information, stop, you know. You can only glean and see so much information before your mind breaks. And that's what I feel that the Pale is. A birth of information. So much information, you lose it. And it requires special training. I guess in a sense it's like training on how to compartmentalize that information, how to not delve too deep into the information you're assaulted with, not to think so hard on it. That choice people who travel for business, or that is their job, require that training so they don't go actively insane, or they at least maintain some portion of their mind to be functional, you know, to be functional. And God, the interactions also between the different characters. Oh my goodness, it's funny and also serious. It's a mix, funny, serious, and sometimes just non-committal. It's like, yeah, I also love how the characters actually grow. They grow in the story. It's not like it's not like the idea of, oh, you're a bad person, you're just gonna stay bad the entire way through. It's like, yeah, I don't trust you, I don't like you, just go away, you know? No. Titus Hardy and the Hardy Boys. They started out as the rough and tumble guys who are prime suspects and clearly give two craps about who I am and the police, you know? So it's like, I don't like you. You just stand for bad things. But then as the story goes and you talk to them and you learn things about them, whether directly or indirectly, the Hardy Boys are essentially the stopgap within Revachol of all bad for anything that comes into the city, essentially. Any bad things that come in, they will do their best to stand in front of it and stop it. If that means running an internal drug trade where they are regulating any and all drugs within the city, they'll do it. Any outside sources, not welcome. They don't trust it. If the city is going to get high off drugs, it's going to be on their watch, not some outside sources. And yeah, you could say they're criminals in that respect. But when you look deeper into it, you understand that this is their way of protecting their city. They care for their city in their own way. So much so that they took it upon themselves to spearhead an in-city narcotics narcotics trade, if you will. They care. They care about their people. And then when we talked about the that woman who calls herself the Pigs, they all knew her. It's like, even Titus, when we talked with him, he's like, yeah, he says like, yeah, we know her. But you can kind of tell that there's a hint of, you know, a caring in him. And then when we approached it nicely, he gives that little backstory that is like saying that us, the Hardy Boys, we all know her. She was that person that cared for us as best she could. You know, like, well, it was nice to us that we like her. And if anything, now's the time to pay it forward, to bring her back. And you could tell that Titus was disturbed at the idea that her family would not even bother to visit her, talk to her. They're living their own lives, yes, but they just, like, cut her off. She's lonely. And they're willing to try, at least, to help her as best they can, even though they know it's not enough. And, you know, like, he has a heart. They all have a heart. The Titus Boys have a heart. Hey, 2019, so that's when the game was first made. But yeah, The characters grow, and I appreciate that they do grow. I really, that's some great detail. And which is why I really loved the script of this game. I loved it so much. I've said it so much, and just amazing. It really was. It really, really was. You know, I'm just curious. What if I said continue? Where is it going to start me off at? I'm actually honestly curious now that the game is over. So, yeah, please load faster. Oh, we just start back here from the last save. Okay, well, that's, okay, that's cool. So, yeah, that's it. Go back to the main menu, please, and then let's properly end this game. Let's just properly end it. So we never did figure out the motive per se. Like, what was his motive, his personal motive. But there is enough for the prosecution to... Like, it's literally an open field. Prosecution, what do you want to chase? You want to chase this, that, all of them? Take your pick. You know, there's a whole plethora of it. This game was a lot longer than I anticipated. 84 episodes. When I took my break in January and then came back on February, I made a little internal bet with myself. Like, what is going to end first? This Let's Play or my classes? Because my classes, at the time of this recording, ends in 2 weeks. I finished this game before my classes. And by the time this posts up on YouTube, it will be 1 week before my classes are over. So just a slim margin, but this Let's Play project ended first. And I'm actually kind of glad, because that means when I finish my classes, I'm no longer insanely busy. I can start on my next project, fresh of mind, with no with no interruptions or distractions apart from my one job. And that feels great. It really does. Just thinking of it, it feels like a great idea. Again, like I said, I didn't imagine this to be a long game, especially coming off of Chrono Cross, which was 84 episodes, I think. This is 84 episodes. And so if my memory is true about Chrono Cross, coincidence that these are both 84 episodes, and god, it was a long time. No, this is longer than 84 episodes. Chrono Cross I could cut off like every 30 minutes, give or take. This is like 45 minutes to an hour, depending on the on the story. It's like, oh, this was a long game, and I'm just amazed at the story, at what it was, what it portrayed. I loved every minute of it. I don't know if I will ever play a second playthrough of this game. If I do, it's not going to be in a good while. It's not going to be for a long while yet, because this is a long game, and I might have while I do extol upon the story a lot, it's a very long game, and I'm exhausted. But I suppose that's a good thing. It's like the end of an interesting story, and now it's time to put it back on the shelf. And if you want to revisit it, take a long break before coming back again. You know, it's like one of those deals. But I'm definitely not going to be forgetting this game anytime soon. Really. So, I have no idea what the next game I will be playing is. Honestly, I haven't even really thought about it, with, as I said, everything is going on in my mind. There's going to be the standard 1-2 week break between the end of this series and the next one. For me, it's probably going to be a month, because I have like 2 weeks worth of videos from this game alone at this point of talking, so I'll have a month to think about it. But it's going to be a small game. I have an idea where I want to play, but that's up in the air. But until then, definitely a small game, not another big project where I'm just struggling at times to finish it between my busy schedule. And yes, thank you for watching. Thank you for those of you who were leaving comments and all that, and just, you know, sticking with it and enjoying the story alongside with me. I really appreciated that. I really did. And hopefully I will see you all on my next project, whatever it may be. But until then, later everyone.